All right, welcome in another episode, Fire the Cannon, a post-Thanksgiving edition of Fire the Cannon. Jeremy Hubbard here with you once again, and joined alongside by Brett Swinney of NetSN. Brett, first off, how was your holiday week?
It was great. Feast week here on NetSN. We had lots of great action. We had 3 basketball games on. 2 on Monday. One was you guys. We'll talk about here shortly. And then we had several football games. You got to help us out. We had a Friday doubleheader this week that Jeremy and I got to hit up after Thanksgiving football. It was great action, a lot of fun, but a really busy week for me, Jeremy. Let's fit some food eating in there in the middle of it.
Fit a lot of it in there, actually. And then just to have the week away from work a little bit, right? That was fun. I feel kind of refreshed. And I don't know about you guys at Chapel Hill, but us at Brook Hill, we literally go back for 2 full weeks, and then it's exam week for us. So we're pretty close to the end here and get a few more weeks off, but a lot of stuff going on. You mentioned we did play last week, and we'll talk about that some. I want to get into some basketball, Coach Agnew, because he was actually there to watch us. I want to get his thoughts on our game too before we talk about, or when we talk about his stuff too. But and then we had the football games, whatever. It's a great week, but now everybody's kicking off, and we're going to talk to a bunch of people today that have some big things going on. We're going to talk to Coach Jacob Agnew first. The boys' head basketball coach. Obviously, you know him if you've been around Brook Hill for any amount of time. Not only is he a great coach, also a great dancer, and has the best-looking bald head on staff, I would say. There's maybe a few that would argue that, but we'll see. And we're going to talk to his head boys soccer coach, David Collins, get his thoughts on the soccer season, and also a big tournament that we're going to be hosting this coming weekend at Brook Hill. We'll talk to him about that. And then a special guest, I guess we'll call her a special guest. My wife, Tiffany, will be with us to talk about the cheerleading team as they get ready to go back to the state competition a week from Monday on December 4th, and we'll talk to her about that. So a lot of things going on, and at the risk of not going too long today, Brett, let's go ahead and bring in our first guest. He's here with us, the man, the myth, the legend, head boys basketball coach at the Brook Hill School, none other than Mr. Jacob Agnew. Let's see if we can get him on here. Let's try this.
I think he should be with us.
All right. Hey, you got me?
Yo, we got you. There he is.
All right, then.
Man.
Glad to be with you guys today.
Man, I'm glad to have you. So, Coach, tell people, I know you were a little bit of a traveler during Thanksgiving week. Where all were you at this past week?
Oh, man, I was out in God's country, out in West Texas. I went out to Monday, Texas. Yes, just the other side of Sunday. It's Monday with a U, though, not an O. That's where my wife is from. And then we went to some other, her sister's house in Seymour, Texas, which is just about 20 minutes. It's kind of in between Abilene and Wichita Falls. So we were out there, enjoyed some turkey and all the fixings, just like most people probably. And then we actually just got home today. So getting ready to start back the school week and the basketball season.
I told Brett that we were going to have to do the recording a little bit later tonight. We're recording on Sunday night for those of you that are listening. And I knew you were traveling today, so I wanted to get you on. And then we had to get you on first because I know you've been on the road all day. So we got to get you some rest so you can teach.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And I appreciate the shout out to the bald head because I take some pride in it now,
Well, the problem is now at this time of the year, though, Brett, nobody sees his bald head unless it's inside the gym because it's too cold to have that thing out.
Absolutely. It's got to
I have mine short, but not quite that short. I use the razor myself, but it's just the old razor you use at the barbershop. I don't try to get it shiny and bald like that.
Yeah. I tell the kids try to make fun of me, but I just tell them that's my natural glow that God gave me. So
I've seen a driver's license picture that says that's not natural, but I know you've had some hair in the past. That'd be worth passing around on Facebook.
Yeah, I'll look some up.
So, Brett, most people know Coach Agnew. Obviously, he's been here. Coach Agnew, what is this for you? Your 13th year at Brook Hill.
Lucky 13, yep.
Yeah, and Brett, he's probably the smartest coach on staff. He teaches all kinds of math, which makes him a genius.
Math. math and the coaches, like that's a gold mine right there. Like you can get a job seriously, you can get a job anywhere. So the fact that
I
Brook
don't know
Hill's
about.
hung on to you for 13 years, you must be doing something right.
Yeah, maybe I got some people fooled, I guess.
Yeah. But coach, let's talk a little basketball because on the girls' side we've been going now for a little bit, and you guys are really kind of starting. You're going to play your first game this week, but talk a little bit about kind of what the last few weeks have been like for you guys, because I know you've tried to find some games since football ended and it just hasn't worked out. But talk a little bit about how the last few weeks have gone and what you see so far early on with this group.
Yeah, it's we replacing 4 starters from last year is never easy. So got a bunch of new guys that are in, but then a good core group of guys that have been Brook Hill kids, for a long time. In like Beck Langemeyer, of course, our leading scorer from last year's back, and then adding like Luke McNeil, who's been at Brook Hill forever, and some other guys that'll help, I think, bring those new guys along. Hopefully, as far as what I've seen so far, I like the potential that we have. I think I've told Jeremy already and some other coaches. I think I've got 5 or 6 guys that are 6'2" or taller, and all of them have long arms, and those are the kind of things that you just can't teach. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about our potential. It's going to be a growing process with so many new guys. But again, I think we have the opportunity to be really, really good. So far, our guys have already, I feel like, started to gel just in practice. Now it's going to be a little bit different once the games start and people get a little more nervous and that kind of thing. But I'm looking forward to seeing how we all play together and how I try to manage the so many guys. I think I've got probably 11 guys that I can put in at any point in the game and feel comfortable, which is going to be something new for me.
Yeah, last year, Coach, you kind of were at a tight bench. You really go maybe 6, 7, 8 deep. So having 11 players, I mean, it's probably going to allow you to do a little more things differently as far as you maybe can put a little more pressure on, or you'll be able to sub guys in and out, since things that you weren't able to do last year. My question is for you is the point guard position. What you lost at point guard with the other brother, my brother, that's no longer with us. What do you got going on there at your point guard position? 'Cause that's very important to have run the offense.
No doubt. I would say we don't have one set, which some people might be scared of, but I feel good about, is because I have 3 different guys that I feel like can really handle the ball and run the offense. Beck Langemeyer, of course, him being the leader of the team as far as a guy from last year. I feel like I can trust him with the ball, but I'd love to play him off of the ball a little bit more. I think he's actually better when he's not, controlling the ball all the time. So then a kid who played a little bit of varsity last year but was just hurt so much is Avery Coe. He was number 30 last year. He'll be number 11 this year. He's really stepped up in practice, and he can really handle the ball. He's gotten to where he can really shoot it so much better. Got to get him to be a little bit more vocal because he's a quiet kid, and you need your point guard to be able to really set the tone for everybody. But I feel good about both of those guys, and then a new guy that I didn't really even know a lot about is a young man by the name of Alvaro, who is from Spain. He's a sophomore, left-handed, about 6'1", 6'2", skinny kid, but he can really handle the ball and super coachable. And that's what all the guys that I have this year, I feel like, are super coachable and want to do, the right thing and play together, really unselfish. So, like I said already, I'm pretty excited to really get them in a game and see what we can do.
Coach, talk a little bit about you guys are going down to Conroe this week to play in a tournament. You'll be leaving Wednesday, and talk a little bit about who you expect to see down there and kind of what you're looking for early on. I know it's a late start, and we're just a month away really from getting close to district play. But what do you expect to see when you go down to Conroe this week?
Yeah. So one of the reasons we decided to go down there is just to face some different teams. Very rarely do we ever get to play any teams from the South. It's all East Texas. We used to go out to West Texas some, but maybe see a different style of basketball, or we'll see. I know just from looking on Max Preps and stuff, I feel like we would be maybe the favorite, and then the other favorite is who we play the very first game is Legacy Prep, and we play them in their home gym 9 o'clock in the morning right when we get there. So
Oh, that'll be fun.
we got them, and then uh, honestly, there's just a bunch of new, different teams that we haven't really faced before, and I haven't really seen. So, it's going to be one of those things where we've got to just do what we do, and we'll have to adjust on the fly. But all of the teams there, I think, have already played 5, 6, 10 games, and we're just trying to break the ice. So hopefully, we can come out with some energy, and hopefully that ball goes in a few times, and we can get some confidence, and maybe we'll come away with a few wins.
I think you're in a similar spot, Coach, to where I was a few weeks ago, and even still working through. And I think you would agree that it takes some time. Is you got a lot of new players and a lot of new pieces to work together, and you have a lot of talent. There's no doubt about that. And it's kind of feel where I'm at on the girls' side. We have some talented players, but we haven't figured each other out yet, right? And I think that going down there, even if it's lesser talent maybe than what you would see if you were playing somewhere else, just getting to work together for 5 games or 6 games even is more beneficial to you than getting a win somewhere, right?
Oh, absolutely. We haven't taken a trip in a few years, and I remember we used to always go out to Abilene and stay out there. And the thing that I liked the most was just the bonding time for the guys. I remember uh, a few years ago when we went, there was a kid by the name of Colton Adams who ended up
Mhm.
being my point guard, and
Yeah.
he was such a quiet kid. And the thing that everybody said after that trip was, man, he's such a cool kid. He's such a funny guy. And he just like came out of his shell, and it was just awesome to see. And that really helped, I feel like, as the season went on, because those guys that may not have really hung out with each other or anything previously kind of get to know one another, and just have a good time, and then it translate onto the floor.
Coach, I mentioned tournament season. Obviously, you're going to Conroe this week, and then when we come back the next weekend, we'll be hosting the Brook Hill Invitational, something that you have been a part of the Tommy Young Classic for the last few years, obviously, ever since you came to Brook Hill, honestly. And we've been running a tournament on the girls' side, and this year we kind of went together and kind of rebranded it a little bit. But I know we're both excited about that weekend of basketball and people getting a chance to come out and watch, hopefully, 4 good games out of our groups.
Absolutely. No, I always like it when the boys and the girls can play in the same spot, so that we can support each other and get more fans there. And shoot, it's at our own gym also, so we don't have to get on the buses and travel anywhere. We can just walk right on over and shoot on the nets that we always shoot on. So yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm excited that we got a lot of local teams too, because I think the crowds are going to be really good for every game. So yeah, if anybody's out there listening and wanting to go watch some basketball, December 7th through 9th, Brook Hill School is where you need to be.
Hey, I think I'll be there.
Hey, come on, you can come see Brett too. Cherry on top.
Now, I was going to say, Brett, if people can't make it out, you're listening from far away, where can they watch 20 or we did this math, I'm sorry. Where can you watch 24 of the 28 games of the tournament?
Net us in. We'll have the games on our YouTube channel. If you haven't downloaded our app yet, make sure you do that. We'll have the games up there. We'll have games all day long. We'll kind of be, getting some guys in and out on the broadcast on the headset. So lots of different voices. Try to get some guys in and get some experience. But I'm excited to hang out all day. Just that you guys' facility is top notch. I think it's a very nice, like, compact atmosphere for games. Like when you guys have a game in there, it's loud. And so I think the atmosphere is going to be awesome for a tournament. And like Coach Agnew said, there's a lot of really good teams coming from around the area. So I think you'll have some good turnout. But I think being able to have the game on NSN to provide those fans that, it is during the workday for some people and they aren't going to be able to make it. So hopefully they'll be able to tune in and enjoy some good basketball.
Well, Coach Ag, always a pleasure to visit with you, and we'll do this throughout the season and go get you a few wins this weekend.
Absolutely. Well, I got to ask y'all something. Did any of y'all have any smoked turkey?
Oh, yes, we ded.
Yeah, I did too. Father-in-law did a smoked turkey, so I got to tell Harrison.
Yeah,
he don't know what's happening.
And I mentioned this last week. Ryle actually came to my house to eat smoked turkey, so he's automatically out of the best cook competition. But
all right, I'm gonna have to holler at him then.
Yeah, let him know. Ag, we'll see you later, man. Thank you.
All right, see y'all.
Man, Coach Agnew, what a dude! Always fun to talk to. He is, Brett. I know you know Coach Agnew just a little bit, but he is genuinely one of the funnest guys to be around. He is since I've been at Brook Hill, he's one of the guys I've enjoyed hanging out with and getting to
with him. So it's a good thing you get along with him,
Yeah, and if anybody would like to buy a new gym, I'm just kidding. I don't want to start that. I don't want to get in trouble for saying that. But, yeah, we do. We spend a lot of time together, especially this time of the year. And, of course, coaching football together, too. And then that, I always say he's one of the guys that I'm glad gets to coach my kid also. So I'm glad for that. And speaking of guys that I like having coach my kid, is our next guest, I think, is lined up still, Brett, if he's still with us there.
Yep.
This guy, man, he really is. Not to go back to football, Brett, but if you want to go ahead and bring him in, we actually nicknamed this guy the Secretary of Defense during football season.
Ooh.
As it is defensive coordinator and head boys soccer coach, assistant athletic director, some other titles I'm sure he's got. Coach David Collins. Coach Collins, how are you today?
You guys having me on?
Yeah, man, I'm glad you're here. And kind of pull the curtain back. It's almost 9 o'clock on Sunday night. Like, you're still awake. I figured you might be upset since the Texans lost today, but
I don't want to get fined, but it wasn't great on a couple of those third down and fourth down pass interference calls that didn't go our way today. But there's a lot to be excited about with my Texans.
Yeah, no, they were fun to watch today. With the Cowboys not being on, I got to watch the whole game. And, of course, Nico Collins, if you don't have him on your fantasy team, you better get him now. Let's talk soccer.
Sure, you got my boy playing.
Yeah, I do. I got him playing it. But before we talk soccer, I almost jumped the gun a little bit. Coach, what were your Thanksgiving plans? Where were you at over the break?
Local. We, my oldest son is married, and my youngest son is in art at University of Arkansas, and so they came in, and we had Thanksgiving over at my in-laws' house, which is always great. And then anytime I can have all of my kids and all of us under the same roof, is a good time for me. So it was good to have everybody together for sure.
Well, we were just talking to Coach Agnew about what everybody ate over the Thanksgiving break, and smoked turkey was the hit at our house. I told Ag, Coach Ryle even came over to eat some and told me how good it was. So he's, in case you're keeping score, Coach Collins, he's out of the running for best cook.
I'll have to get on Ryle about that. He's pretty critical of your smoking abilities. So for him to go to your house, I feel like that's a pretty good step.
Yeah, he wasn't critical of it on Thursday. I'll say that. But anyway, so let's talk soccer. And before we get into just your team, because I know I want to talk a little bit about that because you have a special group. But tell everybody at home, we tried this last week, and of course, not great at this, but talk about the tournament that we'll be hosting this coming weekend, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
I was trying to think back to how many years we've been doing this. This is year 8, I think, 8 or 9 that we've hosted this tournament. We co-host with Grace, and it's kind of blown up into a who's who of this area. And in TAPS, we've got a lot of great teams coming in. A lot of teams from the South. In the past, we've had some San Antonio teams coming in and Austin teams. This year, we don't have any of those teams coming in. We've got a good group coming in from Houston. But you know me, I'm not afraid to play anybody with my guys, and I want to challenge our guys to get them ready for the season that really matters when we start district play. So we've got a great lineup of teams coming in: Concordia and Lutheran South. Oak Ridge from Dallas, they're an SPC school. So it's going to be a great tournament for us and a lot of good soccer. And good time for our guys to kind of find out. I'm in a little bit of the same boat as Coach Agnew is, that this is going to be our first game on Thursday, and we open up against Lutheran South, and they've played 9 games already. So, but it's a good time to jump in with both feet and find out what we got and get our guys ready for when it really matters come district season and hopefully another run in the playoffs.
And that means they have fresh legs, Coach.
Well, that's true. That is a bonus. I hope that they did some working out over the break when they were away from me to at least stay fit.
Well, look, but also, this is, I think, your second year away, maybe third away from coaching the girls also. And so I know that you're still actively involved in what the girls are doing, but I think the boys and girls will play back to back a lot over the next few days in that tournament, right? Is that pretty close?
Every game will be back to back. There are some times where the guys will play then the girls, and then the girls will play and then the guys. But yes, every Brook Hill game is back to back for the weekend.
And before we get into your group specifically, I know the girls, they had their scrimmage against TCA Addison a couple of weeks ago before the break, and they'll be getting ready to go this weekend. And I know Coach Rodrigo, and you can speak a little on this. We'll get him on in the future, but I know that this girls group coming out of a playoff appearance last year, what they've been able to do and the way they've been able to grow, it's a pretty good group this year for him as well.
Talented group, and they're still really young as well. So, Coach Rodrigo's done a great job with them and preparing them. They had a great showing against TCA when they went to their place, and so I'm excited to watch the girls play and see what they've got. The girls are really strong in the back and great goalkeeping, and then we added a couple of pieces with some girls who have moved up from the middle school, and one girl came back to us, and so I think offensively we're going to be pretty good as well on the girls' side.
Well, Coach, talk a little bit about your guys, because I know that you have to replace a lot, and another year, another search for a keeper for you, and I know that's been kind of a revolving door the last few years, and you've been fortunate enough to get guys step in who can play really well and have succeeded in the goal. But I know that's one of the big question marks you have. But talk about that situation, and then also who you guys, what you should look like. What should people expect when they come watch your guys' team?
When they come watch us, it's going to be fast paced, and it's going to be good soccer. We want to put a good brand on the field. We like to play the beautiful game and knock the ball around and possess the ball, and we're going to high press you, and we're going to try to create turnovers and create quick counterattacks and go get you any way we can. We have a lot of speed, so we're really athletic. And we've got, we have our top 3 scorers from last year are back. So I'm excited about us offensively going forward. But we do have to replace 3 starters on the back line and the goalkeeper position. But I'm excited. We've got 2 guys, Luke Visser and Christian, who are stepping in to vie for that keeper spot. And both of them have proven that they're going to be serviceable. So it's going to be a little bit in the tournament, putting them in there and see who can win that job when we get going to the district season. But I'm excited about the guys and what we've got coming forward.
Coach, you mentioned a minute ago the season that matters, the district schedule, and if I'm not mistaken, you guys start district like really quick, right? I think you're just a couple of weeks away, if I'm not mistaken.
December 11th, we will host Dallas Lutheran, I think, is our first district game. I'm sorry, I don't know exactly who it is off the top of my head. I think it's Lutheran at our place on the 11th, and then we'll have the long Christmas break, and then we'll play district game number 2 January 4th, coming right out of Christmas break. So it's going to get rolling pretty quick. We'll have 6 games under our belt by the time we get to district, so that's going to be good. But yeah, it's going to happen pretty fast for us.
Hopefully you have it off the top of your head. Can you tell us what time on Thursday you guys, as well as the girls, will kick it off to start things off in that tournament Thursday?
We'll play at 5:30. The girls will play at 7.
Right.
and then we'll each play 2 games Saturday, and each of us will play 1 game on Sunday. 2 games on Friday, and then 1 game on Saturday.
Fixing to say, getting that Sunday action on the tournament, that might be against TAP's rules, but no, that'll be fun. I know a lot of people will be excited to watch you guys play. I'm excited to see what you do. I know that Brett, by the way, this is one of 2 state champions that we're going to have on the show tonight. My man, Coach Collins, he's got a few rings to his name.
Oh, I like that.
He likes to tell me he can't. When I'm talking, he likes to say he can't hear me because of his rings.
Well, maybe you can add one to your collection, Jeremy.
The varsity boys is the only one missing from my resume, so that'd be a fun thing to get if I could get one with those guys this year. I think we're talented enough. We gotta put it all together though, and see what happens.
The ball has to bounce the right way, correct?
It does. You gotta play well, and usually somewhere along the line you need a little bit of luck.
Well, I'm excited to watch what you guys do, Coach. I appreciate you joining on. We'll have you on here pretty soon, and go get those wins to start the year on Thursday. That'd be a nice start to the season.
Thanks for having us on, Brett. Jeremy, appreciate you guys.
Yep. Thanks,
yes,
Coach. The man, Coach Collins. He is a man, Brett. People around Brook Hill that know he and I know that we have it's a great relationship. Really, it is. He's one of my best friends, and but also we like to give it to each other a little bit. But now the funny thing is, Brett, as I've gotten older, I'm not the young coach anymore. I'm not one of the younger. Like I'm literally on the top half, which is kind of scary. We have to band together now.
It happens that way sometimes, I mean,
it does happen that way. We just keep hiring these young guys, and they don't even look young. They're just, man, it's not fair. But anyway, it is what it is. So, but go check out the soccer tournament Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We'll be having our game times posted on social media. I know as we go through, and I am excited. I really do think that the boys team and the girls team both will be extremely competitive. The boys have a chance. Coach mentioned it, and he doesn't say enough about them probably, but I think they have a chance to be really special in what they're going to do this year. Speaking of special, we have a third guest this week. Man, this is kind of we've never had 3 guests, Brett. This is we have, but just not the way we're doing it.
Stacking it up.
Yeah, usually what we do here is we just kind of record a bunch of segments and piece them together, and we decided this week, no, let's just go full bore at it. Let's see how good we are. And you know what? We're 2/3 of the way through, Brett, and it's worked out okay. And I think this last one will go just fine as well. As now we have a chance to welcome in our third guest of the afternoon, the second state champion of the show. That is Tiffany Hubbard, whose cheer team won the state championship last year. TAP's state champions. And I would ask you, Tiffany, what you did for Thanksgiving, but I pretty much already know. But how was your week, at least? I'll ask you that. That's a fair question.
The week was, it was good.
It was good, she said.
She got to spend a lot of time with you. That was always good, right?
Always on Sunday night, I'm ready for 2 more days. I have not buyer's remorse, I have holiday remorse. I didn't take full advantage of all my days. And now I'm I got to go back to work.
It's, yeah.
The nice thing is, Chapel Hill has a PD day tomorrow, so the kids are still out.
No way.
So,
I would rather have kids and have a professional development, if I'm being honest.
For me, that means my break is extended, so I'm off tomorrow. So,
wow. Well, not us. I'll be teaching class in the morning. Tiffany, I'm actually practicing.
We have practice in the morning. Yep.
Yeah, I'm actually practicing at 6:15 in the morning for basketball, so I don't have much.
Listen, do not feel sorry for him. I practice every morning. He gets one morning a week at 6 something. He's like, I got early practice. I'm like, yeah, we've been doing it since August the 1st.
This is why I can't have her on, Brett, because this is what this has turned into.
You're going to give away all your secrets, Jeremy.
Yeah, there's not many of them. But anyway, so, we spent a lot of time talking about this last week on the show. Brett and I did. I say a lot. We spent, 5 or 6 minutes, and Tiffany got to hear that and what we said about it. But, Tiffany, just kind of talk about, I don't want to go back and talk about last year necessarily, but I think it's important to know kind of the progression of how it's gone in the last 4 or 5 years, how you guys have gone from where you were and kind of when you started going to this competition and finally being close for so many years and it finally paying off last year with a win and the state championship. Kind of talk about that process and what that's been like.
Yeah. So when I tell this story, it kind of goes back to 2018, 2019, which our oldest one was a freshman that year. And we had gone to TAPS. It was kind of new cheer competition in TAPS, maybe a year or two prior to that. And that group came home. I think they had finished like 5th. And they were like, what do we have to do to be, at that time, it was Fort Worth Christian. Like Fort Worth Christian walked in the door and you're like, oh my gosh, they're on a whole nother level. And that group of girls were like, what do we have to do? And so we kind of sat down, we set some team goals for them. They were freshmen that year. Well, it was prior to 2018-19, but they were juniors that year. So they were like, what do we have to do? And so we just kind of set some team goals. One of them was, you got to get in the weight room. Like those girls at Fort Worth Christian were dominating people. And I attribute that to, they were strong, they were athletic. And that group made a commitment. That's what we're going to do. And so that 2018-19 year, we finished runner up. That same group kind of set the tone for the rest of them. The next year, 1920, we finished runner up. And then the next year, 2021, kind of was a year that I thought, we're about to win this. Like, this is the most talented group we've had. They all can tumble. I mean, I thought, it's not even going to be close. And we finished 5th. And that one kind of hurt a little bit. And that group, the group that I have are seniors, were freshmen that year. And they said, no, we're not doing this again. And so the next year we took a break from what they call traditional competition, which is the game day cheer on top of the tumbling, the stunts, the pyramids, and all the things. And we just did like a game day. It's a band chants, fight song, and a chant. We kind of took a break, did a rebuilding year, and then went back last year. And just from the onset of the year, we had a group who bought into what we wanted to do. They were still bought into the weight room, still bought into everything that we needed to do as a program. And basically we just set the tone. Our motto that year was no doubt, leave no doubt that when we walk off the floor, it's not up to a judge, it's hands down, we're the best. And so when we got there, you never know, like, it's so subjective. You never know if somebody's going to like what you do, doesn't like what you want to do. But our whole point was, we got to go down there, and it's not going to be a matter of do they like us or not. It's a matter of we're the best, and everybody in the stadium knew it.
And, you know, honestly, I told you this. Of course, you're a regular old coach, right? Like when your team performs, you're like, oh, we're terrible. We didn't do very good. Blah, blah, blah. No, I told you when you came off the floor last year, both performances, like you were the best one, and it wasn't even close. Like you did leave no doubt. And I think that most people who watched that knew that. They saw that was the case. Talk a little bit about what it's been like in that year since, because it's one thing to win it the first time. I think it's even harder to repeat.
Yeah. So that's one of the things we've kind of been telling the girls is now there's expectations. You know, we did drop a division, so we dropped down to 4A for this last year. And so we didn't really know what to expect. I'll tell you, the competition probably pretty much the same, 4A, 5A, 6A, no matter where you are in there, it's pretty much the same. But we told them, now you got to go back and you got to leave no doubt and be better than you were before, because you're in the back of their mind like, oh, they're defending state champions. What are they going to do now? Lots of credit to Coach Kofer and just what he's done since June. We don't require cheer to lift in the summer, but it's strongly recommended they get in there and get in the weight room. And so just since June, the changes they've made in their ability to jump, the stunts, the pyramids, all the strength that they have now. I look at Maddie Hanks all the time. I'm like, why does it look so easy? I don't want it to look easy. I want it to look like it's hard. And she's like, we're just strong. And so, I mean, I credit him, thankful for him every day. And, you know, he's one of their biggest fans too. Like, he pushes them every single day. And so I think it's made a huge difference just from last year to this year.
You know, Brett, one of the things that you and I talked about last week was it's not like a sport where there's a scoreboard, right? And it's if I get in the end zone, I get 6 points. If I put it in the basket, I get 2 points. It literally is humans who are going to stand up on a stage and watch you and decide what your score should be. And that makes it more difficult, because there is that mental side, Brett, where when somebody knows you won it the year before, they just all of a sudden expect you to do it again. And that's difficult.
Yeah, it's really hard to and I've never played a sport that was that way. Usually anything that you do, there's a a winner and a loser. And it's, you may have a call here and there that you don't agree with or whatever. But at the end of the day, who wins is not, it's there. It's, this team is this score, this team, this score. With cheer, it's almost like maybe boxing or
yeah, no,
or,
for real.
or something like that, where even like I could say that I saw the fight and I think little Johnny won, but those three judges could see little Bobby. Every single one of them thinks he did better. So it's very subjective. And I think you made a good point of you have to go over the top and make sure there's no doubt. Like you don't want to leave it in the judge's hands where it could go either way. So I think it's definitely an interesting sport in that aspect to me.
Well, Tiffany, and because of that, there are some things about the scoring that Brett, you and I would never be able to explain. So we'll let her explain this. But you basically, with what your routine is, you determine what your score will be if you don't make any mistakes, right, Tiffany? Kind of explain how that works.
So basically we're given like rubrics and progression. So like it's scored, there's beginning, intermediate, advanced, elite. And so your goal is you want all of your skills to max out the score sheet. You want, majority of your skills to be in the elite level range, just to score. Now, there are people who could probably do a routine in the intermediate, get 0 deductions and just be perfect, no anything and win. However, if you have some, you always take the chance of, am I going against somebody in the elite level who's going to do the same thing? And then their score obviously would be higher. So we do have that in advance where you're kind of working off a score sheet of like, where do we want to fall? Where are we capable of falling? You don't want to go to elite if you can't hit the stunts in the elite. You want to drop down and execute it. Us, fortunately, we are in the elite level in tumbling. We're in the elite in stunts, and we're in elite in pyramid as well. So we go into it and your routine has the skills to score in the higher range of the score sheet. Then it's up to 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old kids to execute the routine. And so some things that we do, I don't know how many other programs do this, but we set goals at the beginning. A full out is you do every single element of the routine. And so our goal is to hit 50 full outs before we leave. If you hit a 0, that means you've had 0 deductions in that full out. And so last year our goal was 50 with hitting, I think, 5 zeros. Well, we hit 50. We hit 3 zeros and 50 full outs before we left, and then our final 2 zeros were in warm-ups before we went out there. This year we're at 35. We should be at 40 tomorrow. We've already hit 10 zeros, so we're feeling pretty good. There's that balance of confidence, and you don't want to be overconfident. You still want to be hungry. So you got to go down there wanting to you want to peak at the right moment, which I feel like we did last year. I hope we're on that climb again. I hope it gets better and better every day. So we gave them off last week. We have show offs tomorrow with Jacksonville that we do every year. So I'm excited to see them actually perform it and get a really good idea of what it's going to look like next week. And then we'll just kind of fine tune. Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll be off Thursday. Friday, a bunch of our girls in sports though. So we've got soccer players and basketball players, and they've got everything else going on top of just competition.
A couple of things I want to mention about that is I'll get to the opportunities they have to watch you guys, but I do want to mention the fact that you do have girls who do so many other things, not just athletically, because you have volleyball players, you have basketball players, you have soccer players, but also they're involved in fine arts. They're involved in so many other things, even things away from the school. And we joked a minute ago about me having to go to 6:15 practice, blah, 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 whatever. But you guys have done that all year long, like you mentioned, in addition to pep rallies, which are not the same thing, in addition to performing at football games, which is not the same thing, going to volleyball games. Talk a little about load management, because you're asking a lot of those kids, and I think that's something you're very open and honest with them about at the beginning. If you want to be a part of this team, we have high expectations and high standards, but it's going to take a big commitment. Talk about that and what those girls have been able to do with that.
So just going back, when Coach Dawkins hired me 10 years ago, he said, we are athletic supporters, number one, competition secondary. And so kind of the mindset has always been like, this is in addition to your responsibilities to be leaders on campus, to be the spirit squads on campus, to be at all the athletic events. And so it definitely is a commitment outside of just a regular, I'm a high school cheerleader. It's a whole nother level. And They do it. They do it well. I'm amazed every year. Anybody who's had a cheerleader on a competition team, when we get back, I'm amazed at how well they handle it, how well their bodies handle it, their minds handle it, their emotions handle it, all the things. I mean, I know they're kids, and I know they probably are resilient, can do anything, but it's a lot. I mean, there's times where we're getting up at 6:15 and we're hitting it hard, doing full outs, and they've come in midnight, 1 o'clock from either a volleyball game or a basketball game or a soccer game or whatever. And so we do ask a lot of them. And I mean, I am honored and blessed to have those girls every single day. They're fun to watch. They're fun to watch just push through all the things that they have going on top of Brook Hill academics is no joke either.
Well, and you never really see them complain about it. I mean, I'm sure they do
don't.
at some point, but
They really-
you never
they
see
don't.
it. You never see it
Mm-mm.
if they do. So we're recording this on Sunday. This will be released on Monday morning. Talk a little bit about the opportunities. I know you mentioned the show off with Jacksonville. That'll be Monday night. Talk a little bit about that, and then any other opportunities that they may have to see that people listening may have to see the girls before they perform next Monday, and then we'll talk about that.
We will be at Jacksonville High School in their lower gym, is what I think they call it, at 6:30. Us in Jacksonville will do probably 2 full outs each, just for some experience in front of a crowd. The more people that are there, the better. We love for people to come watch us. If you have never been to one, it's fun just to watch them prepare. You know, like football gets 10, 11, 12 weeks of games for people to go watch. They get 2.5 minutes. And so anybody who can watch or anybody who can just encourage them this week would be appreciated. And as far as another another show off, we're trying to get one scheduled at Brook Hill. I don't know if it'll be before school one evening. But, there's basketball tournaments, soccer tournaments, and I don't know the availability of the girls, honestly, of when we're going to be able to squeeze another one in. And then I think TAPS TV will show it live, right? On Monday, Jeremy?
Yeah, people that want to watch it on Monday, TAPS TV, it is available to you. And, I think they have a little fee, the same you would pay if you were going to watch it in person. And you can actually watch it live, and then you can go back and watch it later. And do you know, I know you got your times, your true performance times off the top of your head, Tiffany, when they are on that Monday?
So prelims will be at 12:36 and finals are at 6:06.
Yep. So 12:36 and 6:06. If you want to buy that on TAPS TV, you can watch that on Monday. 2.5 minutes. It's well worth it. I tell you, it was, I'm not just saying this. I'm close with a lot of those girls on that team, obviously with Tiffany and Maddie, but just to watch them last year was super impressive. And the way they bred, it wasn't close. Like, there was never a doubt in anybody's mind who the best team there was. And I think everybody, even the people that weren't from Brook Hill, were like, yeah, they're good. They're going to win. So that'll be Monday. And I know
even in that moment, I know y'all didn't ask me this question, but even in that moment when we were down there for awards, when they said second place, because we've been second so many times, we were like, okay, it's not us. We didn't even win. We dropped. And you can ask Kaylee Fitzgerald. She's looking at me saying, stop saying that. I'm like, okay, if it's not us, we just got to be gracious. We're going to lose with class. Just hold your head high. We did the best we could. I'm talking them down like this isn't about to happen. And when they called our name, it was such an unreal moment.
For everybody. Right. It was.
So I have a question. So of all the years that you've done cheer, I know you won state. What's like your best memory of all this? I know it's a lot, but
oh man, the best memory is probably that group last year. The chemistry with them, they everything they did was for somebody else. They were the most unselfish group of people I've ever been around. And since COVID, even though that's been a while, since COVID, TAPS doesn't let the whole team on the floor anymore. So only captains get to be on the floor for awards. I think, Jeremy is the one who made me realize it. I didn't even know they did it until I went back and watched the video. But when they announced us, and all those girls went back to the team to celebrate instead of going up there and getting the trophy themselves, I think that was probably my favorite memory, honestly.
Yeah, it was. And that's the truth, Brad. It was kind of, you don't see that in high school kids these days. I mean, I watched all the other teams there that won, and they went and grabbed the trophy and celebrated. But that group ran straight to the rest of the team and celebrated, which was awesome. And I'm glad you said that the way they gelled, Tiffany, was your favorite, because I'll be honest with you, like, yeah, they won a state championship, and that's amazing, and that you can't take that away from them. But I'm glad you didn't say that was your favorite memory, because I think I can look at the last 10 years of you being, over the cheer program, and it's so much more than that. And kind of
Yeah,
like we
for
talk about
sure.
other programs, there are so many people who paved the way for you to get to where you're at. And I think people that have seen would all agree, like, if you were to line up all your teams from year to year and say which one do you think would have won a state championship, I don't know if last year's team would have been the one that looked like they would have won it, right? I mean, it was
Yeah, I mean, you
they
look
had the
at
it factor.
think about Gracie Campbell and JC Cowens and some of those girls. Those teams were good teams, and they finished fifth, and those were good cheer teams, and not that we weren't good last year, because we were good, but I think the chemistry and the relationship and their love for each other and the unselfishness of, what do I need to do to make that easier on this person, or is there something that I can do different, and that was every single day. Maddie and I will tell you, last year's group was just a fun group, and we told them afterwards, y'all will be bonded together forever. Y'all did something together that a lot of people don't ever do. We've been trying to do it for a long time, and we finally got there. So I just think watching those relationships of that group last year was probably my favorite memory. And then just being with those girls just for 10 years, I don't know that there's a group that you can say you can't pick out a memory with each group that wasn't your favorite.
Well, it's different for you and I, right? Like, in all transparency, in all honesty, with Landry being a senior and this kind of being her group, she's not like, these are the girls that she's known since she was in kindergarten, first grade. Like,
Right.
These are girls. I look at some of those seniors, I'm like, man, I remember they were first graders and they were just annoying little first graders, right? But now here they are and they're doing this thing together, which is pretty amazing. But anyway, everybody go watch Monday night at Jacksonville High School. If you just enter the high school, go all the way around to the back, you'll see all the cars in the parking lot when you get there. I don't know I couldn't tell you how to get there, Brett. I just know every time I go, I just drive all the way around until I see all the cars, and that's how I know where I'm at. Monday night, 6:30, go do that. And then next Monday, December 4th, 12:36 and 6:06, and then the awards I think will be somewhere around 7:30. I looked at the schedule one time, Tiffany. I think it's pretty close, 7:30 ish.
They have all those individual awards that they like to take forever to do and drag it out.
Yeah.
So,
Brett, you should have to go to a cheer competition one time.
Everyone should have to one time.
I do have a daughter now, so it may be on my agenda at some point.
I'm telling you, man, they just find ways to make you spend more money. I think, like, it's crazy, but that's the next 2 Mondays. So go check them out. And I mentioned this last week. Repeating is hard, and if there's a group that's capable of it, it's this group, and it's been fun to watch. I know how hard they work, and we'll be watching. We'll be excited, Tiffany. So good luck the rest of this week, and we'll be pulling for you next Monday.
Great. Thanks for having me.
Yep. Thanks. And Brett, now hey, look, she's been after me, like, I got to be on the show. I'm like, okay, we'll get you on the show, right? And now she's on. We let her go because it's her time. And look, it's important, right? Like, it truly is. It's the last state champion we've had. We haven't had one, and it's been a minute since we've had one other than this one, right?
I'm hoping that we get one soon. You talked about the team thing with the cheer, and I think that's very important. That's not just a cheer thing. I think that's in any sport. You can have great individual players, but if you don't have the chemistry in the team, I think sometimes people overlook that. But if you've got a team that's willing to sacrifice and do their part, even when maybe they could do something else, if the team needs someone to rebound or someone to block out or someone to hustle, someone to be that sixth man off the bench. And I use basketball terms because we're kind of in basketball, but I think that's the important thing. Like, if you've got 10 girls and they all want to play, none of them want to sit the bench, none of them want to. You can't win that way. You have to have players that will do individual roles, and the same thing with cheer. You can't. Everybody can't do everything, So you gotta have someone that does the bass, someone that tumbles, something and that may not be their favorite thing to do, but if that's what the team needs, that's what they need to do to do their best. And so I think that's very important as someone that I I played basketball in high school, and I was not the tallest. I was not the most athletic, but I went out there and did what my team needed. If they needed me to dive on the floor and save a ball that kept a possession, if they needed to take a charge, like you have to have people that do that. And I think that's so important. I think, and what she said is so important for cheer. And I think that's going to help them again this year.
Well, and to that point, we didn't talk about this with her because I didn't think it was, worth spending the time on, because I think there's a lot of other stuff to talk about, right? But you only get 12 girls on the mat at a time, right? So they have 12 girls that'll be on the mat. But there's been, I wish I knew exactly how many, 4 to 5, maybe even 6, who have been at every practice since they started, learning not only one spot, but they've been learning multiple spots in case something happens and they need to fill in somebody's spot. And you're talking about asking high school kids in 2023, this doesn't happen very often, Brett, asking high school kids to come in and do all the work, and they may get none of the glory at the end, right? And when you have, and it's, last year they had, a couple of girls do that. This year they've got 4 or 5, and they knew that coming in, and they weren't ones who did it last year. They said, hey, I just want to be a part of it. If you need me, here I am. And I've been in there and watching them practice some mornings where they've got 2 or 3 kids just rotating in and out because, hey, if something happens and we need somebody, we need you to be able to do this spot, this spot, this spot. And I say it all the time, like football, yeah, we're tackling people, whatever. And cheer, you're literally trusting 3 of your friends to hold you in the air and throw you and catch you. That's the hard, like, yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I would throw one of my friends in the air. It's not a guarantee I'm going to catch them, but you're asking, that's a lot of trust. That's a lot of trust. And there are so many things about it. And man, we could talk all day about the differences in what you do in cheer versus other athletic events. And I
think there's a lot of similarities, though. It's a lot of
it is. It's very similar, and it's rewarding to see those girls have that payoff, and it's in many ways, because I mentioned Lila Morris last week, who plays basketball for me, and she's part of this team and won last year. And one of the conversations her and I had was she wanted to know last year what she could take from that and bring to the basketball program, and us be able to do the same thing. And because of that those are the reasons why she's able to be such an effective leader for me. But there are so many girls who take that same mentality to other things. I look at what they do, and they go to soccer, and they go to volleyball, and they go to fine arts, or whatever it is, and they do that. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm fortunate enough. I won't get to see them tomorrow night if they're show off. I'll be going to a middle school basketball game, but I'll go next Monday and watch them down in Belton. That's Monday, December 4th. Tune in on TAPS TV. I would actually encourage you to go down. If you can take the day off Monday, go watch, and it'll be fun. So real quick, before we get out of here, Brett, I will say this. Coach Agnew, I guess, was listening in when we were talking to Coach Collins a little bit a minute ago. And he wanted to remind me, I guess, that he did, in fact, get a state championship ring for football back in 2011 when Brook Hill won the state championship. So all the coaches that we talked to today are state champions except for me. So, we're working on that.
You've got a pretty good group this year, Jeremy. No pressure and all, but I mean, I think they've got some potential.
I tell you what, we do, and you were there last Monday when we lost to Sherino in overtime, and it was a great experience for us, even in a loss. For us to be down 5 to 7 points, the number of times we were, and each time come back and tie it up. And, we had some big shots down the stretch. Remy Tonroy, had 19 points in the game, but had 10 free throws. And I think 6 of them came in the last 2 minutes, maybe.
She was a machine at the free throw line.
And it was, Savannah Onley had the quietest 20 points I think I've ever seen in an afternoon. But we needed a game like that. And, we'll go to Wolf City Tuesday night this week. And they're a team that was in I think they were regional tournament team last year, and then we're going over to Pine Tree to play in a tournament this weekend. So we're going to get tested. We're going to be fine. I think it's an exciting winter season for all 4 teams. I think for both basketball teams, both soccer teams, and then cheer. I think it could be a great winter for Brook Hill.
Yeah, an exciting winter, and I'm looking forward to. You have guys know how much you've advertised this, but I'm looking forward to go to Dallas in the American Airlines Center, Jeremy, to see boys and girls teams play. Well, talk about an experience for those kids.
Yeah, I'm actually glad you brought that up because I'm going to be posting on our social media later today on Monday about that because the deadline to buy tickets is December 5th. So they give us up until 30 days out. So make sure you go in and buy your tickets. And remember that ticket, where you buy the tickets determines where you sit for the Maverick game that night. So everybody will be down low for our games. So don't worry about that. There were some people who were kind of confused about that and I think spent some more money than maybe they wanted to,
Oh,
but
okay.
so
Well, they'll have good seats, I guess.
yeah, they'll have good courtside seats for the Maverick game that night.
Not me. I didn't buy courtside.
Me neither. Me neither. But I'll be posting that out in the link. Make sure you get those. It's going to be a fun day, man. That is an experience that, I mean, quite honestly, it's like I don't want to say it's once in a lifetime because I'm looking at it from my point of view, thinking, why don't we do this every year? Like I know it's the timing of it is not great because we'd like for it to be on a Saturday maybe to help out with school and stuff like that. But man, we sold. So to kind of pull the curtains back, the two schools that are playing are required to sell $10,000 in tickets combined. And if you don't, you just pay the difference, whatever. We sold over $10,000 worth of tickets in Brook Hill families alone. It was
nice.
Like in a few days. I think.
So maybe some people brought like a bunch of courtside seats.
Yeah. They didn't say how many tickets. They just said the dollar amount.
It wasn't a ticket. It was a dollar amount.
We appreciate that. You all of you who bought $400 tickets, we're happy. But no, seriously, I mean, it's like I thought that it must have been. We're playing Dallas Shelton, and I thought they must have given to their parents, and our parents and their parents were buying. And so the guy from the Mavericks shot us an email and said, "Hey guys, I want to congratulate you two schools on selling these tickets. You sold them really fast." And the guy from Shelton was like, "Well, that's great, Brook Hill, because we hadn't even told our people about it yet." And I was like, "Man, I told Coach Dawkins. I was like, Coach Dawkins, we were worried about it. We were like, all right, we may have to float a couple thousand to help this out. We weren't sure. We didn't know what to expect, right? Like you don't know." And but we did it pretty quick, and so I'm excited about it. I think it'll be a great experience. I'm pretty jacked about it as a coach. I know you're going to be there broadcasting the game. It'll be on NetSN for those of you who can't make it, but man, it's going to be cool.
It's a great day. Get to call 2 Brook Hill basketball games, and we pack up and get to watch the Mavs win. Hopefully,
yeah, they're playing Portland. I think that'll be a win.
Yeah, they lost that Dame Lillard guy, so they don't think they're as good anymore.
Man, I'm trying to think of what else we may have left off. We had a lot. We covered a lot today, Brett. That's pretty good. But make sure this week, Thursday, 5:30 and 7, the soccer teams will be in action there at Harrington Stadium. Monday night, go watch the cheer team. And then in 2 weeks, I say 2 weeks, on December 7th, 8th, and 9th, the Brook Hill Invitational Basketball Tournament. That schedule will be out, posted soon.
The links are already up.
Yeah. If you go to the NetSN YouTube page, all the links for all the games there. And I'm actually going to tell the coaches that in the morning. I'm excited to let them know that I think some of them may know you're coming and doing all the games, but I'm excited to let them know about that. That'll be a huge deal. And I love hosting tournaments. I love tournament season of basketball. I really love hosting one. I think it's a great chance to showcase our school. Our parents do such a great job providing hospitality rooms and food, and they're welcoming. And it's always fun when you have people come on our campus and like, what in the world is all this stuff? Like, you have a museum? Yeah, we have a museum on campus. If you want to go look at it, you can. We'll work that out for you and all that kind of stuff. But hosting at Brook Hill is so fun. And,
I think the atmosphere is just what I enjoy about it over there, Jimmy. It's just you got almost like a college-esque atmosphere for these high school students, and it's just really cool. Like everything that we've done out there, it's been from the tailgates to now we're getting to the tournaments and it's just a really cool atmosphere and a really good place to send your child to school.
Well, that will do it for this week. Just under an hour, Brett.
We didn't have to talk the whole time either.
We did, man. I feel like, that's weird. We went an hour long and we very rarely talked. It was all right, but thanks to Coach Agnew, Coach Collins, to Tiffany for joining with us tonight or today on Fire the Cannon whenever you're listening. And make sure you check out NetSN, get the NetSN app, and you can see all the shows and broadcasts and all that good stuff there for you on the NetSN app and the NetSN YouTube page. So for Brett, this is Jeremy saying thank you for listening, and we will see you next week here on Fire the Cannon.